Right guys, the final instalment of the Scout armour build. If you remember, we had these three pieces: the back of the holster, the part that holds the holster, that holds the blaster, and that little angled piece that we cut out. Right, first of all, the back section, you could just hold that in position and kind of guess where it is, but because I'm great and I know where it is, I'll just show you. So we start about there-ish, there. So can you see where that mark is? Can you see that, Mr. Clark?
Yeah.
Start about there. Then we are going to run a line right down it, a few mil in. So just hold your ruler there and you run it down about 80 mil. Just quite tricky to hold the ruler still. Yep. About there. Okay, so if you notice I've got a line there now. We'll get the Dremel, we'll trim it out probably 2 or 3 mil wide. We'll try it in and take it out, try it in and take it out until it's right. But yeah, just got to Dremel along that now. Don't forget your iPro. Okay, so now we've got the slot cut into it. So I'm just going to smarten it up now. A little file, a bit of sandpaper and a scalpel, just to get all the little bits off. So now we've got the slot cut into it. It's ready to receive that. You see it? Like so. Right, so before we do that, I am now going to stick the angle piece inside that. Now, the angle piece is a perfect right angle when we give it you. So you might want to just squeeze it close slightly with some pliers. You'll realise you'll need to for when you start to put it on. The angle in there, it's not a right angle, so if you notice, you need a slight angle for it to anchor on correctly. From the top of the holster, I'm going to make a mark of about 30 mil. Okay, so that's going to be where that sits. Okay, so it starts to take shape now. I've made that line there at the top, so it's going to be sitting about there. Okay. Next, again, you can build it with my help, but if you've got all the screenshots and you decide it needs to go a couple of mil further over here or there, it's entirely up to you. Just use me as a guideline. I will be making another line about 17 mil in from the edge of it. Okay, they're the lines. So before I start sticking it all, I'll just double check everything lines up. So that will be its final resting position. So now this piece that will be going here, I will stick it inside that piece. Okay, if you notice, I'm trying it on because the angle it will be sitting at, once it's on there, will be a few mil in. Okay, so that's about 3 mil in. Just draw a little line. Right, beautiful. Let's try and hold it in position. So it's now starting to take shape. I've got that resting on the inside of the plastic. Okay. If you remember them lines we put on earlier on, the top line, we'll line the top of it up with that, and them side lines, just so it's nice and square. That's where we'll stick it in a moment. Here it goes. Beautiful. So there's the front of it. You notice we've lined it up now and that's stuck in there. Next is this piece. So it's obviously out at the moment. So we're just going to slot it in and have that level with that, like so. Okay. Once I'm happy, I'll flip her over and glue the inside of it. A little bit more glue here and there. So that's that done. It's attached with 4 rivets onto the boot. 3mm drill bit. I don't know, about 8mm in. Well, I do know it is 8mm in. Again, look at your screen grabs. You can decide. Okay. Okay, it goes on the right boot. Now, there's quite a few Scouts in Star Wars, obviously. So I've noticed that they tend to be about that far down. There's some that are a bit lower, some that are right near the top. On these boots, unless it's a pair you've built yourself, it might be slightly different. But I tend to keep the back part of it near the seam. I like to do it a bit higher, but again, it's entirely up to you. I've seen one where it's higher, whereas some people like to have the gap. It's entirely up to you, but I'm going to build it like mine. Quite simple. Pencil, mark it on. Again, keeping it near the back seam, because you don't want it reaching right round the front, do you? Hole number 1. Put her in place. 1 3mm rivet. Get a washer on the back of it. 1 rivet gone. Boom. So now we're happy with that. That's one of them on. Pencil mark. Next rivet. Then repeat on the other 2. So if you notice, I'm putting my hand inside it just to hold the boot on an arc to make sure I get this in the right place. Mark it on. Okay, so for the final hole, I've marked it on. Bit awkward to do with the hole punch. You can either use a brad hole, for which you can just punch a hole in it, or you could use a hole punch set, find the right hole, but these are the ones you need to use with a hammer. So it's entirely up to you. Right, so I've just put a piece of 3x2 in, inside the boot, put that over the hole. 1 hole. The final one will just pop in now. Et voila. 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 Okay, all done. 1 finished holster. 1 finished holster on the boot, ready to go. Bon appetit.